Morning, everybody. It is 8:20 a.m. A little later start than I wanted, but I'm here. Welcome to my channel. All right. So we had a pretty little wild market yesterday. There was some Iran tension. We did not have a court ruling on tariffs. Believe it or not, it was just the heavyweights in our market that was weak. The rest of the market was not weak. So when I was live yesterday, I was mentioning that my market internals, the market cap was weak, and that's how our market moves. However, the heavyweighted, I'm sorry, yeah, the heavyweighted sectors were weak. So I expected the market to go down. But if those particular, like the Nvidias, the Apple, Microsofts, couldn't like keep going and they caught a bid, the market was going to rise. Okay. And we hit very key levels yesterday. In the QQQ, we hit the 50-day moving average. Last week closed the 20-day moving average. The SPY, you hit 20-day moving average in last week's close. Nasdaq futures, you hit the 50-day moving average, the 20-day moving average. You hit the 20-day moving average in futures and ES. All right. Now, once that happened, when I was live in my community, I was talking about I'm not crazy about a short. Because if I was short, not meaning when we bounce, when we hit these levels I'm talking about, when there wasn't wicks like they are now, I'm like, I would be taking profits here, especially with the rest of the market not very weak. It wasn't an all out sell off. Okay? This market's wild. It's like a wild stallion right now. Okay? Now, that brings us to Taiwan Semiconductors had a record profit fourth quarter for AI demand. Remember, they make semis. And look what our market's doing today. It's gapping up. ES and NASDAQ are gapping up. And it's like yesterday did not happen. Okay? So, if you look at daily charts just really quickly, let's look at these here. Let's look at the futures, actually. That's futures daily. Okay? Now, this is your ES right here, right? So, we had this like um, daily demand zone, right? And we swept that swing low of a daily. So, the next move is up, all right? We just swept that swing low, hit the 20. Now we're getting the Taiwan semiconductor catalyst news. Maybe this can push XLK to really start cooking. Okay. Semis are up 3.10% this morning. In the NASDAQ, same thing. This daily swing low was swept. Right? You came right here and then whoop, back over to 20 to 50-day moving average, back over to 9 AMA daily. Now, I don't know what happens from here, but I would have to say this gives us a ride back up. All right, unless something, and also Trump put the brakes a little bit on any kind of escalating tensions with Iran or Iran, however you want to say it. Okay, that also is going to help. That's why oil is down almost 4.5% because he said we're not going to do anything. He de-escalated tensions. Okay, so that's what's going on. The VIX is also down like 4%. Wild market. Okay? That's what's going on, folks. I always try to bring you everything why is going on. What's going on. Silver was out of control yesterday. Now today it's pulled back a little bit, down 2%. Okay? Now yesterday, I passed my eval, first top step, 50K. Challenge. I think I did it in like 31 days or something like that. I probably would have did it sooner if I didn't start in December. I think I started December 12th or something like that. But remember December, there's days that are the market's closed or are closed half days. So needless to say, I passed it. Um, Very happy the way I traded. Very happy. I posted my. I wanted to share my stats, but as soon as I activated my XFA, my funded account, it got rid of that combine, so I couldn't share my stats. So here it is right here. So that's what you get. All right, congratulations, you're a top step funded trader. Now my plan, I have actually 2 free resets as well for 50K. My plan, I believe, is I think I'm going to start another combine, and try to get funded again, and have another one. I think I'm going to try to get funded again, and then I'll have 3, and then I'll do trade copying with 3 accounts. Okay, so that's kind of what my plan is going to be, and a little background on this. One of my good friends, like, he was doing this, and I never did it. I was only trading my personal account, and I was asking another friend in my community, almost like, how does this work? Like, I really didn't need to do it. I trade my personal. I don't need the capital per se, but I was like, let me. And then when I heard the rules for Top Step, I was like, all right, that's not that bad. You don't have that open P&L and trailing drawdown. It's an end of day drawdown, and I was like, that makes sense. He's like, it's only $49, and I'm like, okay. I took a couple stabs in the beginning, and I never did this gamified trading, right? And I went too heavy, and then I got up and I went down, and I wound up blowing that first one out. I was like, all right, because I'm not trading it like it's personal, right? So then I tried again, and I was like, let me try to not go heavy on size. So I got it up to like over $2,000. And then again, what happened was, I took a couple losses, and then I raised my size up and gamified it again and blew that up. Okay. So I was like, all right, I don't like how I trade these, because I didn't like, it's not my personal money, right? So it makes your mindset a little different. And so then I tried again, which is this one that I just did. And I was like, I'm going to trade it like I trade my personal account. I usually just did one mini. Yes. I didn't go more than one mini this whole time. So made my risk consistent, and then it just steady gains every week, and pretty much solid trading. Okay. Now, the one thing I'm not going to lie is I'm used to making money on my personal account, that, like, I just made funny money to pass the eval, which I understand the end goal is that I'm funded now, right? So, not going to lie, I traded really good, and I wish it was my personal account, because then I'd actually have the money, right? However, that's fine, right? That's fine. What I want to do, like I said, my plan is to get funded on the other 2 accounts, have 3 funded accounts, and then try to trade copy, right? So then I can triple my risk, and then all in, like, it just makes sense, right? Because in my personal account, let's say I can't triple my risk, right? Because then I'll lose triple the amount of money, but that's not how it works in the funded. That's the advantage, right? The disadvantage for being funded, right? After a while, I think the first 10K you get 100% profit, but then it's 90-10 split. Obviously the 90-10 split, but you're using somebody else's money, so that makes sense. The downside also is when you do your taxes, you don't get the futures 60-40 capital gains, that advantage. You don't get that because you're an independent contractor. But there's a trade-off, right? You're also not using your capital. So it's pretty cool. Now, the reason I did 50K, right? Just because when I was doing the numbers, I was like, okay, there's 100, there's a 150. To me, the 100 and 150 does not make sense. It's marketing, in my opinion. It's really good marketing. because 50K, it's not even 50K. Let's be honest here. It's $2,000. Okay. Now the 100, you have to make double the amount of the 50K, double, and you only can lose 3 grand. It's only $1,000 more than the 50K. And they say you can use 10 minis, right? That's all marketing. You only have a $3,000 account, but you can trade 10 minis. Why would you trade 10 minis? That's all marketing. That's all to get you to blow it up. That's why it doesn't make sense. So let's say I do two more fund. I think you could have a total of five 50K funded accounts, or five accounts you can copy, right? It just doesn't make sense to me that I have to make 6,000 in 100K. I have to make double, and I only get 1,000 more risk. It doesn't make sense. It's meant for you to blow up. 50K makes the most sense to me. Now, don't get me wrong. If I am trade copying and I'm successful and wow, my system's like banging, right? Maybe eventually I don't know what I'll end up doing, because if I'm banging them out like that, I might just raise my risk in my personal account. I don't know. It still makes sense. All right. Overall, I'm happy. Good experience. Like, I wasn't doing this. Everybody was doing this for, you know, makes sense. It's just like another outlet. All right. Really makes sense. So I think I'm going to do a fun. Now, my other plan too, because I don't like just making funny money, and I'm trading that good and I'm not making any money. It's just getting funded. Just trying to get funded again. Right. So what I think my plan might be is to trade the eval account again. But if I really like the setup, throw it onto my personal as well. That way, at least I'm making money, real money, while I'm trying to get funded as well. I think that's what my plan's going to be, because I just don't want another month or something of making funny money. And I understand the end goal is to get funded, but I'm not making any money, right? It's all good, all good. Okay, so just want to let you guys know I passed it, and I feel I passed it the right way. I didn't pass it in a week. I didn't pass it because of a couple trades. I was consistent. Okay, I was very consistent. There was, very, very, very consistent. So I'm very happy with it. And I know this last 5 weeks or so, 6 weeks, have been very not the easy. That even makes me feel better. It was not easy trading. I know a lot of other people I've seen online saying they're not doing good, and I really did good. All right, so give myself a little pat. But now we move forward, right? We move forward, and we got a lot to talk about today in the markets. Okay. So without further ado, without that little story here, thought I'd share that with you. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and buying profile to find structure in the markets along supply and demand. Gamma exposure level. Gamma exposure level is the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That's my edge. That's how I find structure in the markets. Use market anchor VWAPs and market internals. My bread and butter is market internals. I can't say it enough. Okay, bread and butter. Now, I also use, and I can't believe I'm saying that, ICT. ICT has changed the way I look at the market for a trade. For a trade. All right. I feel like what it's done. I feel like I got somebody blew a tranquilizer dart in my neck to not trade. To not trade. Because that's the thing that when you're successful in trading, it's a lot of sitting on your hands. Okay. And ICT, because it works on drawing liquidity and all that stuff, right? It just makes me settle down and really watch, and really in between liquidity levels kind of just see it as noise most times until one of those gets hit, and then I still have to wait what I want to see. It just makes me very calm to trade. Prior, don't get me wrong, I still read the market pretty good, but like, did I have a repeatable framework every time that I want to see? No. It was more discretion. And I actually was looking at Bookmap and Footprint. And don't get me wrong, I could still read them, and they're still important tools. However, now my brain just looks at the candlesticks, really, and the liquidity, right? Still, still get base everything on market internals, but I can't say enough how this has changed my execution. I can't say it enough. Okay, so that's that. Now, if you want more in-depth covers like that, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. Come and see. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna steer you wrong. I'm gonna be very calm. I talk about the markets. I am very confident when the day is happening, what the market's capable of. I am very confident. Okay, that's why the internals come into play. Now, hopefully, you join me every morning as I give you the market story. Subscribe, set that alert. Okay, give you technical analysis, and then I'll give you long and short trade scenarios in the ES and the Nasdaq futures. All right, now let's get right into the futures watch list here. Look at that leader. Nasdaq futures is almost up 1%. It shrugged off yesterday. Okay, anybody who was short yesterday, especially in options because you can't do nothing, is gonna get smoked this morning. Is gonna get smoked. Okay. Now in equities, I know you can trade extended hours. All right, but whoa, man, I would not like to be short right now. Okay. Now, so we got Nasdaq futures. Okay. This is not good for mortgage rates. The 10-year yield is up over 0.5%. Okay. ES almost up 0.5%. The dollar is up 0.33. The Russell is up 0.11. The Dow is flat. 30-year bonds are being sold slightly. Ethereum is down over 0.5%. Gold is down 0.85. Bitcoin's down 1%. Bitcoin is down 1%. Silver is down 3.5%. Crude down 4.33% with the tensions de-escalating with Iran. The VIX is down 4.78%. Moving on to the Mag 7 Plus. AMD is a semi and getting love because of Taiwan Semi. Okay. So is Broadcom. Okay. AMD up 2.55%. Broadcom up 2.53. Nvidia a semi up 1.47. Amazon up 1.37. All right. Everybody's up. All right. Eli Lilly's down 0.5%. I'm not sure of that why yet. Coinbase, that's a Bitcoin proxy, down 1.22%. Now, Coinbase has hit its expected move to the upside at 261. Okay, we'll talk about some of those expected moves a little bit too. All right, let's look at this. I'm liking GE Vernova. Obviously, data center build out. It's a utility. Okay, up 1.37%. Qualcomm, a semi, up 1.31%. Oracle, up 0.90. So that's all. Not all technology, but Qualcomm, Oracle. Okay. Caterpillar also up 0.88. All right. Now, who's lagging today? Miners, Exxon, Chevron, Goldman Sachs. I believe they reported earnings, and right now they're down over 1.5%. That's interesting. Okay. Moving on. Well, let's just go granular real quick. I don't want to get too much into it here. Let's just see. There we go. Lam Research, semi, that's up 8.24. Applied Materials, a semi, up 7.69. Look at these monsters. ASML, a semi, up 7.36. Taiwan Semiconductors, up 5.29. I talked about that. CoreWeave, up. Micron, semi. Western Digital, hard drive. ARM, semi. So you get the point, right? All right. Is there laggards this morning? I think that's Boston Scientific, down 4.44. Maybe they reported earnings. It looks like, I don't know. Okay. That's about it. All right. So, market shrugged this off. Shrugged it off. Why? Taiwan Semiconductors with a record profit in the fourth quarter, I believe, or in a quarter, whatever, is saying the AI demand is serious. So, what does that mean? Pump up tech. Okay. Moving on to the sectors. Who is leading here? No surprise. Semiconductors up 3.26%. Monster. Remember, semis are encompassed by XLK. They're inside XLK. I like separating them, right? So XLK up 1.35%. That's 35% of the market cap weight. 35% of the market cap weight. To me, this is a classic sweep of liquidity here. And it just opens the doors for all-time highs. Okay? You got discretionary up 0.38. You got industrials up 0.21. Who's your laggards today? Staples, healthcare, energy. All right. So that's what you got going here. All right. This market's taking off. This market's taking. I'm telling you right now. All right. So, all right. We're gonna get into economic calendar. I mean, today it's not that heavy. All right. You have it already happened. Jobless claims. All right. Let's go to that. Let's talk about that. All right. 8:30 jobless claims. Let's see. Consensus was 215. We went under. Okay. Now today we have some Fed speak, Bostic, Barr, Barkin. That's what we're looking at today. Let's go to the juice. The juice. What do we got here? Morgan Stanley earnings call 8:30. Bostic. All right. Trump meets Venezuela's Machado at 12:30. All right. White House Levitt speaks at 1. I hope to be done. I hope to be done. Okay. Now, let's get into well, let's just look at that earnings calendar. Hold on a second here. I want to get to that earnings calendar. All right, so after the close yesterday, nothing to really talk about. But this morning, the TSMC, Taiwan Semis, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock. Woo! All right. Tomorrow, PNC before the open. I'm going to kill that now. I don't really care about the rest of those earnings for the rest of the week. All right. So, getting back to over here. Well, that's not over here. Let's get to over here. All we care about is this TSMC's record AI-fueled fourth quarter profit. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company posted a stronger than expected fourth quarter net profit as the world's largest contract chip maker received yet another boost from outsized artificial intelligence fueled demand for its advanced processors. The firm set a much higher capital expenditure forecast for 2026, stating that it intends to ramp up production capacity aggressively to meet the rising AI demand. Okay? That's all you need to know. That just shows you if somebody's saying, okay, that the AI bubble is going to pop, well, it's still showing you it just blew out a record quarter, right, for semis. Okay? Now, I'm going to follow price. So, but what I think too is we're just in the beginning stages of this AI stuff. Maybe you get a correction, but I mean, the proof's in the pudding right there, right? All right, some other news. Trump imposes 25% tariffs on imports of some AI chips. All right. Talks about such as the NVIDIA H200. AMD called the I don't know if that's M1 or M325, but all right. So BlackRock assets hit record 14 trillion on fourth quarter markets rally. Keurig Dr. Pepper launches 18 billion takeover bid for JDE Peets. Saks Global obtains U.S. court approval for 400 million in rescue financing. Amazon launches new Europe-based cloud service to address user concerns. All right, let's go before the bell here. Let's read that. Let's zoom in a little more. U.S. stock index futures rose after TSMC's blowout quarterly results fueled a rally in semiconductor shares ahead of earnings from financial heavyweights. Taiwan's TSMC predicted robust annual growth and flagged more manufacturing capacity was in the works. European shares hit an all-time high as a slew of strong corporate earnings boosted technology and financial indexes, while benign economic data pointed to resilience in the region's economy. Asian shares ended lower, with Japan's Nikkei falling back to a record high as rally in technology stocks lost steam and Chinese stocks extended losses. So it looks like Europe had a good day, Asia did not. Doesn't matter. We're up. Okay? Just looking at other news. I saw a Meta laid off people yesterday from Metaverse. All right, moving on. Upgrades, downgrades, no surprise here. AMAT upgrade, Asana upgrade, Broadcom upgrade, Dell upgrade, Intel upgrade, Nokia upgrade, Southwest. I don't know what that is. Southwest. I thought that's not Southwest Airlines. Upgrade. Anyway, downgrades. Let's check out those. GE Healthcare. Interesting. Rocket Labs downgraded. That's interesting. Rocket Labs got a downgrade this morning. Let me look what they're doing. Okay, they're down 1.72%. They got downgraded. Interesting. Okay. Alrighty. I think we're good there. Alright. I think we're ready for some market internals, which is very important. Remember, that's my bread and butter. So, let's look at this market internals recap. The internals never lie. Okay? So, at one time, all these were red during the day. Okay? That is going to be bearish. Hence, the market cap weight deteriorated, right? And I was like, all right. Notice the equal weight never was with it. It was divergent and actually went over zero. Okay? That told me the overall market was not weak. Look at the other sectors: healthcare, industrials, staples, energy, financials, end of the day in the green. Okay, now, very important here. All these boxes were green except the NQ100. Okay? So, that just goes along with the equal weight, right? So, I didn't see anything to worry about here because it wasn't an all-out assault on the market. Morning, Chief. It was not an all-out assault. That's why internals are very key. It cannot lie. Okay? If you look at price action yesterday, okay, and before my internals, I would look at price action and always be emotionally affected by it. Oh my God, it's falling. Oh man, this is so not good. But now when I have internals, I'm like, well, I mean, it's not going to fall. Look at this. If you were looking at price action, boom, 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 right here, you're going to be like this. Oh my God, I'm getting out of my stocks. This is like horrible. And then look, it just, what did it do? Accumulate it, right? Accumulate it. That's your little sweepy, right? This candle. And then what did it do? One more time, distribute it up, right? So nothing to see here. Now, on the daily chart, which I look at every day, okay? Look at these two charts, all right? That's why I have, like, and everything you guys see, I see just with a glance. I don't have to go and touch windows, okay? I don't have to touch windows. I don't have to look, and I don't have a hard time seeing this right in front of my face. What am I seeing yesterday? Oh, look at SPY. Right to last week's lows. That's why I have the orange on my chart. I know that's last week's lows. 20-day moving average. All right. Algos, whatever you want to say. Or usually buy this. And if I'm just short, you think I'm not going to take profits at a 20-day moving average or just the last week's lows? You bet, you damn right I am. Okay? Now, Qs. This looks scary. Ooh, we opened up. We went through the 50-day moving average. We went through last week's lows and a 20-day moving average, right? What happened? Zip. Right? Closed above. That was before TSMC. Okay? Crazy. Now, combine that with internals. Combine that with internals. Remember, I said overall market wasn't weak, right? All it needed was some kind of jolt. That's all it needed. Okay? All right. Let's look at daily chart. We just looked at it a little bit. We're going to have the bigger screen up here. So that's why I say stick with me. I'm not going to steer you wrong. I'm not going to overreact from price action. You know, don't get me wrong. I've been there. I've been there. I've watched a mentor go like this. All right, moving down. I'm not blah 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 blah. And I'm like, how is he calm like that? How is he just not even reacting almost? Well, got to tell you that comes with experience. You know, I didn't. One day I didn't know I'd have that experience. Right? I was just like, oh man, how's that guy so calm? Uh, let's look. Well, we did break the downtrend, so let's get rid of that. All right, but I know what we did. If you're gonna look at this, right? Very easy. We swept. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did we sweep that day? Yep, 6. 6 days swept with this wick. That liquidity was swept. And when you close with a hammer, okay, you close with a hammer. That is bullish. And what do you think happens when, let's say you're shorting here, you hit last week's lows, you probably take profit, you hit the 20-day moving average, right? I don't know where the shorts would be left unless there's some catalyst that comes out, right? Where are we now? 693.75. 693.75. That puts us, look at this gap. We close down here, folks. We're all the way up here. Okay? We're up to the previous day's close. Crazy. There's Friday's close, that black line. That black line is Friday's close. Last Friday. Okay? Unbelievable. Let's look at futures. Let's look at futures. Boom, boom, boom. Look at that. Look at that sweepy sweep. Woof. And now, whoop. Right there. Right there. This, to me, just means higher prices. That means last week's highs is in the all-time high. I mean, this is just very bullish. Now, we could hang out here. I don't know. Okay. Qs. Look at that. Broke this. This wedge is gone. Okay. That is gone. All right. What did we do? Swept all these lows. 50-day moving average. I just showed you that before. 20-day. Last week's enemy closed here. Now, where is that tech now? We are at 6. Let's just call it 626. All the way back here. That is crazy. Almost by Friday's close. That is crazy. That's the expected move to the downside. We didn't go there, but interesting. Interesting. Okay? Futures. Look at that friggin' bar. Jeez. Look at that sweepy sweep. Right to last week's lows, pretty much. Whoop. Wow. Now, there is a daily supply zone here. Right there. Got to be cognizant of that. This is not going to be easy sledding here with that daily supply. Right? If it is, then that's very bullish. If it is easy. Let's look at our breath. Let's smell that breath. Market's breath here. How are we looking? Remember what I said. Equal weight was not weak. Look at the breadth improved from yesterday. Back up to 70%. It should be better even this morning. 70% of the stocks are over their 50-day moving average. Like I said, zoom out. Once we get into the 82, 85, 90, that's when I would get nervous. Okay, because that's not sustainable. That means that I'm probably going to want to trim some of my portfolio holdings, okay, if we do make it up into the 80 to 90%, because that means we're definitely overbought. Okay? I don't know. Now, XLK, remember I've been saying, let's watch that. Let's watch that. What do we do? Well, look, you swept all of these lows in XLK. Where are we now? 146.89. We are here. So you went to balance lows, swept it. Now you're going back. You're going to at least go to here. And if you can break out, that's the move up, and the market should move up. Probably QQQ hits all-time highs. But I don't know. Okay? Now, if we're going to go around the horn real quick, remember my indicator I put for free on my Discord. Let's look at some expected moves. That has been tagged. That is your Amazon. Notice the red bar. Hit its expected move to the downside. This is also why I wasn't really confident in more shorts. Okay? Hit its expected move to the downside. Amazon. Remember, the expected move, the range. Okay? 70% of the time, the market will close inside that range. When you break the range to the downside, I wouldn't be confident in shorting that. You're against probabilities. That's why it's a good edge and to put it to your charts. I give it to you for free. Okay? Microsoft broke its expected move to the downside. Right here. Okay? Where is it now? 462. The expected move to the downside is 463. Right here. We also hit the anchor VWAP. Oh, wait a minute. That's wrong. I have to update that. Let me do that now. That's going to bother me. On this chart, I thought I updated that. Let me do that really quickly. I'm going to do it really quickly, folks. I could do this very quickly. All right, 2025. Boom, boom. 2026. I can get the right anchor VWAPs now. There we go. So, notice how that changed that. Now, I always have these on my charts, okay? So we hit the 2025 anchored VWAP in the Microsoft. That's also very, very, not, I wouldn't get bullish, but that is a key support. All right? Anchored VWAP. Now, moving on. Who else has hit an expected move? Meta. So this is telling me the markets could say it's almost oversold a little bit. See, it broke the expected move to the downside here. Where is it this morning? 618. The expected move to the downside this week is 627. So now I've seen this before where it's here and then it explodes. I don't know. They just laid off people. I don't know. I'm just keep showing you a theme here, right? Now AMD, on the other hand, it broke its expected move to the upside this week. And guess what? It's even higher. 229. It's up here. Now, when you break the expected move to the upside like this and you rip through it, that is very bullish. Remember I said 70% of the time? Well, when you rip through it, it really cracks market makers in the options market and it could really run. So that's when it's very bullish. Okay? Moving on. Let's see who else played with those levels. The only one left is Coinbase, and that hit its expected move to the upside. Right here. So it hits the expected move to the upside. Look, it wicked right up to it. Okay, so I don't know how much long I'd be in Coinbase. All right, maybe Bitcoin could go out of control, but that for Coinbase, options market said that is the move, the expected move to the upside. Okay, it's not going to save, even though I just changed it. I'm just going to put it anyway. You know what? I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. Let's look at these hourlies. I know I'm going a little over today because I started late. I'm still giving you golden nuggets, okay? Let's look at these hourly charts together. Look at this. Look at this. Unbelievable. Hourly charts, folks. Hourly charts. All right, let's talk about it. All right. Ooh, really? Really? Hold on a sec. I just got to restart my little marker. Alrighty. All right. So look at this move. Boy, boy, boy. All right. A lot of things on my charts here. Now, ES, what did it do? Here's your 2-month epoch. Also a bullish fair value gap and a demand zone all in this area, and it couldn't go any lower. So I had no choice to go up to the most traded price of this year and the month. Held that. Pushed up even more. Pushed up even more to where? Last month's highs. Now, we are in a big supply zone. And your most traded price around around this area, you want to break that, and that's going to be my gauge. You do this, hold it, that's bullish, folks. Okay, now what we did is bullish. So what I'm going to plan to do here is sit back. Okay, you can see the traffic here. That's the supply zone. Okay, it's going to have a little problems here. I mean, now you got longs from yesterday's lows. The overnights are very long. Okay, I'm definitely not bearish. Okay, so let's see what we do here. Okay, you can see there was a trend going lower. We broke that trend right here, that swing high. Okay, and overall, we were in an uptrend in the macro sense, which we almost always are. But so what's the plan today? We're in supply right now. I don't really long on supply. Now, if you don't, like Rosita, I don't know if Rosita's still there, if you can see this, but I've added this cool little thing on my chart now. I can always see the daily candle, even though we're on an hourly chart, and I can always see the 4-hour candle right here. It always reminds me that is pretty bullish, folks. Okay, it's nice to see a daily candle go, oh, okay, we open, we push down, okay? So, I'm not going to say today's going to be easy. It hasn't been for a while. But I make it easier when I just sit and wait like a sniper. Okay, so like I said, at last month's highs, okay, we have a swing high right here. That's going to be important. Lines up with this most traded price of the week. Remember, over this is very bullish. Okay, we might play games today. We might do this. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. But what I do know, we're above the most traded price of the year and the month. Okay, stay above that, you got to be bullish. Okay, that's your hourly chart in ES. Let's go to your NASDAQ. NASDAQ's now hit new all-time highs. Look at the NASDAQ. You could just see it right off the bat. That is a lot more bullish. And actually, it just broke the supply zone. Boop. That supply zone is gone. Okay. It actually just broke this swing high as well. So that liquidity is gone. Okay. You have equal highs here. That is going to be a very key level in your NASDAQ. What is that level? Let me just get a roundabout level here. That is 25925. Those equal highs are very key. What else is around those equal highs? The most traded price of the rolling year, that orange box. That's the most traded price of the rolling year. Okay? This is TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor. This, woof, that just tells you AI bubble's not going to pop yet. Now, again, is this the greatest structure moving up? No. Okay, it is not. This could get taken out. However, this is very bullish because we swept. If you just look at all these lows, that's the sweep. Whoop. Okay? That is impressive. Because what did you do? You went into a demand zone. You almost went to last week's lows and futures. Right? Then what did you do? You crushed right through the most traded price of this year and the most traded price of the month. You held that ripped up, and now you're at the most traded price of the rolling year. Very big level. If you break this equal high, and I would think you do this, one or two things are going to happen here. Either you displace through it, come back, test it, make that swing to go higher and to test these liquidity levels up here. You do have a major supply up here, but this is very bullish. Okay? Now, can we do something like this? Equal high comes, we go, but then we wick. We can't display lower, and we can fall back. Maybe we go into this bullish fair value gap and get love and go higher. I don't know. Okay? I'll be watching. Of course I will. This is just very bullish. Okay? Very bullish. Now, what's this gonna cause? FOMO. What if you were one of these people who saw this, don't have internals, and sold your tech? Uh-oh, we're crashing. This is the crash that I thought was going to happen this year. This is it. I'm getting out. And now you're waking up this morning and we're back. Now, you might go, I'm back in, if you're FOMO. Okay? That's the NASDAQ futures in the 1 hour charts. Let's move on. Let's go to my trusty market profile, volume profile. Just gives you a different view. Different view. Let's do it. Let's do it, folks. All right, here we are. Now, who thought after yesterday we'd be here? Not a lot of people. But we all know, as Rosa here, we all know, and she's got a different handle here. That's like a different handle. But we all know all it takes is news. The news catalysts, right? All it takes. So, this is our market profile and volume profile. Okay. This is your sweep here, right? Right into demand zone, right into a bullish fair value gap, and zoop, right up there, right? And you're at the 24-hour most traded price, 7,000. Remember what I said? There's also an equal high right here, right there. You got to get over that. Hold, hold, hold. You can rip. Even if you fail there, fine. Pull back somewhere in here. That's still bullish. Okay? I'm going to be biased bullish today. Bullish bias. Okay? We're gapping up too. So, number one, we have a bullish for value gap right here. So, we're going to put that gap fill here. 67, 79, 75. Lines right up with the week-to-date anchored VWAP. Right there. Also has the most traded price of the overnights here, right here. We are in a major supply zone, though. I understand that. I understand that. Okay? Now, we have our most traded price of the year and the month right here. These are all buyable pullbacks. Okay? All but now, like I said, inside here, it could get ugly. It could get choppy. It can. Trust me. Okay? You got major demand zone here. All right? And we have yesterday's lows down here. All right. So, major level here. Major. Let's call it 7,000. Right there. Equal highs right here. This could be the bull trap. Now, I'm not bearish, but this could be a bull trap. Okay? It can make you think we're going to go higher and it doesn't displace. Okay? So, let's go break this out. Break it out. Look at the session. All right? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go bull. Let's go bull. Let's go scenarios time, okay? Start out with the bullish bias. I didn't think I'd be saying that this morning, but it is. Now, couple things here. We're in a big major supply zone. Number one, we have equal highs here, right there, 7,002. Most traded price of the RTH rolling week, right here. Big level. Big level. I know it is. Okay, so this is what I think could happen. Now, this is scenarios, right? So if we break this, whoop, like this, and we're about to do it now. We're breaking. We just hit that liquidity level right here. Those equal highs. We just hit it. Okay. What I want to see. This would be very bullish if you pushed up and then pulled back and held it. You held this level. That's going to do this and probably go to all-time highs. Okay. That is number one. Number two. Now watch. We just broke that level. Remember what I said. If this can't displace higher and you put a wick and you start to fall back, this would be longs from the lows of yesterday, from the lows of the overnights, going to take a little bit of profit. I would expect a little corrective action here. Take out that support right there, go into this bullish fair value gap, and see if this holds. Now, this could make it look, and I would say this would be a little bear trap. Okay, you have the gap fill here. You have a bullish fair value gap here. Whoop, we come in here, fill that gap, and you do one of these, whoop, high or low. That's the fuel. That's the fuel, folks. And then you push up, hold that, and we're going. Okay, now pullbacks to here are also in play. Are they my optimal? No, they're not my optimal. But I would say pullbacks all the way up into this level, the most traded price of the month, most traded price of this year, are buyable. Okay, I want quick moves in here. If we're lollygagging in here, I'm not gonna like it as much. Okay, that is my longs. Shorts, because there is a short here. We just broke the supply. We did. We broke it. We broke the equal highs here, right? But we're not pushing up, 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 up. I know why. Most traded price of the week's here. I know why. You're probably taking profits there. So we just inverse this, the bullish case. What are you going to do? If I'm going to look short, and let's say the market opens up and it's profit taking time, we do this, go back under, do this, make a lower high. You are going to run at least down to here and probably fill the gap. That could be a trade. Now, if the gap fills and this market is like, oh yeah, this is weak structure, we're going to rip this apart, you're going to go down to the most traded price of the month and the year. Now, we could get bored here, but let's say this totally falls apart. Oh boy. Yeah, this is ugly. I'm going to take out yesterday's lows. Okay? That is your optimal short right here. Okay? Optimal. And that's it. Notice how I gave you that one scenario. All right? Moving on. NASDAQ. NASDAQ's gapping up. Remember, it's stronger right now. It's stronger, folks. We still have that unfilled gap above us. Okay? So, let's look at the NASDAQ and look at our levels. Gapping up. Gap fills 25791. Also lines up with a bullish fair value gap. Okay? Now, where are we at? You have those equal highs here, 25296s, 25926s right there. You're still in a major supply zone. We have not cracked that equal high in the NASDAQ. We have not. We have not. Okay, we're at the most traded price of the rolling year also in this orange box. Remember, above that level is bullish, just like the 7,000s in ES. Okay? Now, buybacks are pullable. Pullbacks are buyable. Most traded price of the year in the month right here. Below that, that's when I take my foot off of longs. You got yesterday's lows. That hit a major demand zone. This is our supply, and the equal highs is your resistance. Now you have equal highs up here at 26046 is also a key supply and level here. That's a key liquidity level. So I'm going to give the box, but then the key equal high right here is a key level. Break out the session and let's get into it. Okay. Very parabolic. This doesn't have the best structure in this area. Okay. Now, let's get into scenarios. Alrighty. We're starting off with the bull. Now, just looking at ES, it's the same stuff. What am I going to say? If it starts off with a gap and go, whoop, you break that most traded price of the rolling year, that equal high, great. You pull back. That could be the long. You tap this level here, that equal high, and you probably test at least that support or the start of the gap fill. The gap at 26150. Easy peasy if this market opens up pretty strong. Now, remember, we could also go whoop, fall back a little bit into this bullish for value gap. Maybe we fill the gap right there and go whoop. Now, I don't like that this is here, the most traded price of the rolling year. But if it's quick, it could whoop, hold it, and there you go. That is my optimal. You can pull back deeper, okay? But I don't want to spend much time in this area. So that's my long scenarios. Shorts. Same thing as what I was just saying. We didn't even take out these equal highs right now. So I think it still wants that level. We're still in supply. So what can I see? I see a wick. If I don't see displacement, meaning a full body candle closure up, and you do this and this, lower high, that's a nice short. You are going to roll. Probably to this support right here and this bullish fair value gap. This is not the best structure. You could really, really zip through this. Zoom right to the most traded price of the year, the most traded price of the month. That level is 257. All right. That could be it. And remember, like I said, still bullish here. Now, you take that level out, 257s. You do have a lot of congestion here. Okay. And you rip through overnight lows. Yep. This is not good. You're going to go down and probably test last week's lows. That's the scenarios, folks. All right. Please, if you enjoyed that, smash the like button. I would appreciate that. Now, as always, join me every morning. Every morning I give you that market story, the real news, the real deal. Your boy ain't going to get dissuaded by price action and overreact. I'm not going to do it. Okay? Not going to do it. I stay calm. Okay? I stay calm. Now, if you want to join me, join my Discord, Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. I will not steer you wrong. Trust me, I will not steer you wrong. I am very patient, and I know what the market's capable of every day. So the market gives us a story. I like to chime in around 15 minutes after the open and give what I'm seeing in internals. I do it every morning. Okay, I generally go live as well. And then you'll hear my commentary. Okay, guys, we got this happening, and that happened, and I see this. We're reaching this level. I'm not doing anything right now. Or I could tell you, ooh, this is setting up. I don't know. Okay? So just come in, join the room, ask questions. All right? Now, if I don't see you in there, I do this every morning, so just come back here tomorrow morning. Okay? Come back here tomorrow morning. Everybody have a great day. Remember, no trade's a trade. And that's it, folks. Take it easy.